humor, I always think of the kind of comment that Justice Potter Stewart made back in the 1950s when the U.S. Supreme Court was considering pornography and what it was and so forth. And his very favorite famous line was, "I can't define it, but I know it when I see it." And I think that's rather true of humor as well. It's not something you can define, that you can lay out, that you can get into all of the specifics. It's one of those things that we know it or we don't know it in terms of the actual usage of it. Verify one thing, that there is a difference between talking about the use of humor in public speaking and stand-up comedy. The former really uses humor to make a point. In the latter, the humor is the point. And there's a huge difference between the two. The humor kind of makes people laugh at the same time that you're making a serious point. I think, for example, of one of the lines in the 2008 presidential debates when Joe Biden was talking about Rudy Giuliani. And he had that very famous line about, he says that Rudy Giuliani seems to think that every sentence has to have three things: a noun, a verb, and the word 9/11. And there was a very powerful attack on him, but it was done in kind of a lighthearted way. You laugh at it, and then you kind of think, maybe he's right. Oftentimes, I hate to say it, people may not always remember exactly what it was that you said, but they remember that they enjoyed the experience. And her mom said, "We'll talk to the instructor." And then her mom said, "Who is your teacher?" And Chelsea said, "My name." And the teacher, and her mom said, "I had her in 1979. Once I got over the shock of that, my classes and say there are four things that you have to consider when you're using humor. You have to be sure it's appropriate for the speaker, for the audience or the occasion, that it's relevant, and that it's funny. In most circumstances, you want to avoid those long, involved kinds of stories, to keep it on a briefer level. A lot of it is timing. That's often what separates good comedians versus bad comedians. They may have the same line, but they don't know anything about the rules of timing. The trick is always to make it sound spontaneous, even when it's not. And finally, folks, it should be funny. There's a concept.